Stagnation breeds hopelessness. Guys, if there's one thing you have to understand is that if you want to keep winning, you can never lose momentum. You can never lose force, which is compounded over time. You have to understand the moment you lose force, the moment you begin to plateau and stagnate is the moment you lose hope, and the moment the perpetuation of this endless cycle of remaining in the same place begins. And so what we have to understand is when you start, you never fucking stop. You hit the gas and then you never fucking let go. You continue the process of moving through your life in a state of high voltage productivity, producing and synthesizing what you need to produce and synthesize to acquire what requires the work. And the production is simply the facilitation of the necessity of the gap you need to fill with the work to create the outcome, which is a byproduct of who you become on the journey. And so what we have to understand is that most people, they live in a state of constant stagnation. They have zero momentum, they remain in the same position, and they're going to flounder and die a low-level piece of shit. Bitch! And so what you have to understand is that the momentum you garner through working on yourself every fucking day, this is the fuel that gets your rocket into the atmosphere up into space. And so the people who stagnate on the same fucking level in the same fucking position are the people who feel entitled to diminish your progress and to shrink you into the tiny fucking container that can't even contain you. And so my boy, what you need to understand is that the voltage you acquire every fucking day, you put in that pain, you wake up, you look in that mirror, and you conquer what the fuck they gave up on. You conquer your life. You conquer yourself. You win. And then you continue this on an endless perpetuation until who the fuck you become on the journey is unrecognizable. These people, they suffer in stagnation. You have to understand that you're going to suffer in the pain of growth, or you're going to suffer in the stagnation of a comfort zone. And every day you must wake up with the will to diverge your will into equilibrium, to ferment the poise of mastery through the continuous being of momentum and power garnered with every step forward. And so anyone who sees in the dark and sees in the state of stagnation, who breeds doubt and then breeds this pestilence into your life, you have to understand that this is simply a byproduct of who they became through time. Everyone is in a constant state of becoming. Everyone is in a constant state of being something and synthesizing an individual. You are your existential production. And so when you listen to people who have zero power, when you listen to people who remain on the same level, when you listen to people who are complacent and stagnating in the same fucking position, these people have a deleterious effect on your consciousness. They will keep you stuck with them, because to see someone move beyond a limit where they limited themselves is too painful to bear. You have to understand that there's going to be a certain point where your growth is viewed as a threat. Your limitless potential and your astounding execution of waking up every day and deliberately choosing to conquer life, this is viewed as a threat. The potential which you become is going to be scary to those who become nothing. You become what they want to be. You become what they should have became. You grow where they stop growing. And you have to understand that they are scared of what you're going to become. And you have to understand that they're going to feel threatened by your growth. So there's two ways to handle this. You shrink back into the little container of which they contain themselves in, this glass mirror of what could have been, this pestilence of a reality. Or you actually look in the mirror and you conquer yourself every fucking day. You continue to stack voltage and production in the direction where you need to go, and then you let the results speak for yourself. You see, everyone likes to fucking talk. You see, the only time we fucking talk is when we need to get the message reverberating through your fucking conscience to push you in the direction you need to go. It's all about momentum. So someone's gonna push you down the fucking hill so you can actually start rolling down and developing and accumulating speed as you go down. And not downhill as in, you know, how these people plateau and then remain on the same level and slowly stagnate. I'm talking about momentum, right? And so, you know, you're going uphill, but the momentum is accumulated downhill. It's fucking physics, reality. But the most important thing is what you need to understand, again, is that you will be dealing with things that would when you begin developing things that wouldn't have happened if you were the same you have to understand that you have to learn how to deal and adapt to estranged things that will appear when you begin to develop. Because when you begin to develop, you start rippling your will through space and time. You start to change the sequencing of your future in the current moment. You have to understand that as you move through the currents of life, the wave is the momentum, and your wave is going to build every fucking day. You choose to stack voltage and stack momentum. And so the people who are these little ripples in the ocean, well, they're going to feel threatened when you appear as a fucking tsunami and fucking voltage. When every day you chose to never miss that fucking wake up. Every day you chose to count the macros to hit the everyday workout. Every day you chose to read the books and apply the knowledge. Every day you chose to look in the mirror and do the work on self. Every day you chose to reflect on your behavior and then to navigate yourself to higher qualities of behavior, because the way you behave is what you will have. Behave. And so what you're going to do is simply continue this process on an endless fucking cycle until you die. And when you become this tsunami, well, the little ripples, remember, they're ripples. And just because they appear in the flesh and they look the same as you and we're all the same species, doesn't mean we're all on the same fucking level. We're all equal until one person decides to outwork the other. And so the only superiority is what the fuck work you put into yourself. That's why it's called superior conduct, bitch. And if you do less, well, you're going to remain and stagnate as less, dumb bitch. It's called the crucible of reality. And so let the work do the speaking. Shut the fuck up and get active in momentum and accumulate power through action by waking up every day and cusping your reality to create a cusp of either being what you were intended to be, what the intention you have set forth to become, what your will is demanding from you to do, or shrink back into the little container and be this shrinkage of what you could have been and this waste of fucking potential that these people want to force you to become, because the pain of watching you grow was too unbearable for that bitch to simply look in a fucking mirror and realize they could change too. You have to understand that some people, they love the work and they love the suffering through the work, and they love acquiring and watching themselves grow through time, and they love the results that is produced as a byproduct of who they became, which was the courageous individual to step up and maximize every fucking day. Then we have the other individual who sits there and watches this person grow, instead of looking in the mirror and thinking, wow, this power that this person has garnered over this period amount of time by simply working on themselves, I can do it too. They don't think like that. It's a threat. And so what you have to do is adapt accordingly. And that's what you call intelligence. That's why I always say intention is going to correspond to the level of intellect and intelligence. Because the moment you have to correspond to your intention with action, you now move through space and time with will. You actually have to navigate yourself through events and sequencing. You have to actually garner experience because you're moving on a trajectory. You're actually going somewhere. And so when people, they stagnate and they believe that they contain wisdom, but all they've done their entire fucking life is watch porn, stay in the same fucking 9 to 5 around the clock, and remain a slave to mediocrity. You have to understand that slavery begins in the fucking mind. And when you don't have the mental possession of the mastery of yourself, when you lack and indulge to porn is now your slave master. Every time you indulge in overeating and whatever the fuck you do to ensure that you remain a slave to something that has a deleterious effect on your life, that corrodes you and decays you from the inside out, you have to understand that this is directly corresponding your reality to a shit outcome. And so what you have to do is wear the golden chain and become a slave to yourself, become a slave to God, become a slave to higher will. Because everyone, you have to understand, the moment you exist in this world, the moment you're born, something is going to have you in a container. And you're either going to be contained by God, which is self-mastery, or you're going to be a slave to everything that is going to keep you in this shadow abyss state of consciousness as you continue to unfold the limitless failure of your astounding necessitation of being a bitch on an endless fucking cycle. You guys, you sit there, you wake up, you watch your porn, and then you feel like you accomplished something, and then you sit there, and then you wait to go to work, you scroll through TikTok. Your brain is in a state of inertia, and this inertia is corresponding to existential stagnation, and this stagnation is the reason you'll die a bitch, and the reason why you feel indifference and can feel the contrast breaking your spine because you're too much of a bitch to realize that you could change. And so every day we wake up and we choose to grow, we choose to expand. And if you relate and resonate, we'll stop fucking procrastinating, look in the fucking mirror and do some shit to change before it's too fucking late. Peace!